Welcome to Skol Chat with Skota. We are a chat group created by four guys who are a blended family, not only through the traditional familial means, but also for the love of the game, specifically for our favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. We won't claim to be professionals, nor will we cover a lot of stats unless it is specific to the topics we'll be discussing. We are just four fans who get together to basically discuss all aspects of the team, from games, training, releases, signings, and the overall organization itself. Our name is derived from two of us who currently reside in Minnesota, and two of whom reside deep within Packer territory. This is not our livelihood, as we, like many of you, have busy lives, and what we hope to obtain are additions to our blended family by having you become a part of it. We have room to add a couple of you at a time during our airings and would like you to join us in our chat. As with any family, there will be happy times and sad times to be discussed and experienced. Although the game may only last a season, the desire for the game and the team is year-long. If you want to join us, please hit the subscribe button, follow us on YouTube, and give us either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on your experience, and leave us a comment. If you'd like to join us during the show, contact us at the email link provided below.
Welcome, everyone, to Skol Chat 27. This week, we're going to recap the Vikings-Packers game. We'll talk about the Vikings season, how we think it went. We'll pick our offense, defense, and special teams MVPs. And we'll talk about like the storylines that are going to be talked about over the offseason. And then we'll maybe do a little picking of the playoff games coming up. And with that, kind of roll into it. The Vikings beat the Packers with their third string quarterback. If I remember correctly, going off the top of my head, I think it was 16-3. There's some people that were talking that the NFL rigged it, so the sports betting would get some better results. I don't know, like
13.5 minus 13.5 was the bet.
So they covered it then by kicking the field goal.
I never heard anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one point in time, I thought it was like 7.5.
Yeah, it might have changed after they announced that neither the starter or the backup quarterback was going to be playing and that they're sitting the rest of their players. So,
okay.
And of course, what were we making fun of? Or I was teasing about J.J. McCarthy's toughness. Pulled himself out after one throw in the beginning of the second half. I mean, I think it was the only throw. It looked like it was a completion, I believe. And then he pulled himself out. So not sure if that was a good look for the rest of the team to see the starting quarterback do that after he earlier in the game got a penalty for talking crap, running into the defender, colliding with him on purpose.
Seeing a previous quarterback earlier in the year wincing for 2 games.
And then, then you got Carson Wentz, who, I think tore his arm off almost.
Yeah.
Fighting through.
Yeah, for 2 games, he winced whenever he threw. So
every time he got in, and that was when the line was playing way worse than they were playing towards the end of the season. So, yeah. So that's my takeaway from the game. Other than that, potentially C.J. Ham and Harrison Smith's last game. We can kind of talk about that later, though, and what we think about that going into the offseason. Any other thoughts on the game overall?
Defense played lights out. Offense, they moved the ball around.
Yeah, they moved the ball around, but I didn't get it surpass that point.
Well, at least Jefferson got 1,000 yards.
That he did. He only had 53 yards at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, he ended up with 100 and something.
Yeah.
But then they had him at one point. I think it was like in the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth. So because they didn't want him to get hurt in a meaningless game.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, going back to McCarthy, he pulled himself out of the game on the fact that he couldn't hold on to the ball, couldn't grip the ball. In the last pass you're talking about, the ball did kind of floated, but I think it was already set up pregame that because he didn't take anything for the pain in his hand. And
he should have taken an epidural. Hey, hold on, that's what we call a callback in the business.
Yeah, that's unbelievable that it was ever even just thought of being done in order to play football. I mean, come on, you got to bring it up. Sorry, Daniel, go ahead. You're pointing at me.
Anyways,
I don't know who he's pointing at.
I think it was prearranged that he felt that he did not have control of handling the ball due to pain or whatever else. Go to the sideline. And it was even announced that he went apologized to the O-line and everybody else for leaving the game. So, anyways, but
Then he put a towel over it on the sideline to hide it from everyone because it was so gruesome.
yeah,
It seems pretty just set up all in all. I mean, if it hurt that bad, why'd you even go out there? Why'd you even try and start when you already knew you were done? I think it was just a preloaded. Yeah.
well,
Like,
the thing is, yeah, everybody's feeling is that he shouldn't even started the game. Fracture. Oh yeah, it came out as fractures, not a little hairline fracture. Is fractured. So apparently,
boy.
yeah,
If that was the
that
case,
was brought up too. So, and then also it's been related back to the Ravens game when he first hurt his hand. Then during the Giants game when he hit the helmet, I think that's when it actually, ended up getting the fractures. So, but the thing is, it doesn't make any difference. He didn't finish the game, but the first half he didn't play too awfully bad. My point is, why not just say, McCarthy, that's all right. You sit out, we'll go from here, It, I don't know if it makes any difference. O'Connell said he wanted to see McCarthy out there and whatever, doing whatever. And so,
I don't know. Like I said, it was just a bad look. I think I would have preferred if, okay, he gritted out, hand off the ball, right? I mean, or have the coach or the trainer say, okay, yeah, and then we'll pull you. We get like they pulled Jefferson. I mean, that would have been better optics, in my opinion. I mean, that's all it was. It just didn't look that. I wanted him to come into the game and throw for 300 yards. Is what I really wanted.
But yeah,
the season on a high note. But then everything that happened in the season, we can kind of talk about it in the season recap, or maybe we can just roll into that now. But I think it would have been we wouldn't be leaving with a sour taste in our mouth after the season. And I think looking back now, if he would have played, he was starting to play near game manager level. If he would have been able to play and not be injured so many games this season, Vikings might have made the playoffs. And we talked about woulda, shoulda, coulda, but that's just the nature of it. With the way the defense was coming on and the way the offensive line started playing better, I guess, other than when Max Brosmer's in the game. Yeah, I think the season would have went a lot better. And again, that's just all of it feeds into that with this one game where he leaves and takes himself out of the game.
yeah, well, like I said before, we never know actually what's the communication between the coach and the quarterback or whatever. So, in fact, there's a lot of going around on different podcasts, just don't quite get what the thinking behind putting McCarthy in the last game. Yeah, I wanted to see him play, but if his hand was fractured, why, put him out there? Then the thing is, there's been comments, and like you, Joe, some of them been words comments that McCarthy was a pussy and he couldn't take it. He whined like a baby and whatever else, pulled himself out of the game. But then the same people did the bitching and complaining when McCarthy should have known that he couldn't hold on to the ball during the Giants game. He should have went to the coaching staff and, complain about his hand. So you can't have one or the other,
nowadays,
Like I said, the bottom line started off, yeah, we won the first game against the Bears, but just barely, more or less. And the thing is, the O-line was not really playing up to snuff. Whoever we had in there at quarterback at the time after the first game, while Carson Wentz was able to connect with Jefferson and Addison here and there. But I mean,
Well, I think at that time, I think Kevin O'Connell was making some questionable decisions in his play calling. And that's when we started to get like, what is going on? Why is the offense looking the way it is? And it was just a mix of all that stuff that was happening. Like you said, the offensive line not having their full starters the entire year, pretty much. And it wasn't
right.
until after week 8, week 9, they had
Yeah.
for half a game, they had everybody. So
yeah, that's crazy.
So there's a lot of things that fed into why they didn't have as good of a season as they could have. But again, there's I don't know, it just kind of snowballed. But again, there was positive. They ended up winning, 4 games in a row, 5 games in a row at the end of the season.
5.
So again,
And they're
that's
above
just it.
500 coming out of the season,
Well, yeah, I got the same. Basically, the Packers are only ahead by half a game.
Was it NFC South? Yeah, like the Packers. They made the playoffs. The NFC South has a team in there with a losing record.
Yeah, we're 9-7. Packs are 9-8, right?
Yeah,
We're 9-8.
basically climbed out of the very bottom of the
Packers are 9-7-1. That tie ended up helping them.
9 and 7.5.
Yeah.
9-7.5.
And so they got half a game got us.
They should just change it to hockey and get points for wins.
Yeah.
I guess they get
Yeah.
points for ties too, though.
But they're not at
I
the bottom of the division, so
Lions, and then the Lions end up beating the Bears. I guess
that was
we're
a
not-
setup, wasn't it, Dano? The Bears were supposed to win.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. Yeah. Now the
Did they-
Lions got their tail ends kick, and then they turn around and beat the Bears.
Couldn't believe it.
Bears set. Right.
I think the Bears wanted to make sure or the Lions wanted to make sure that the Bears did not get the number 1 seed.
yeah, wasn't the Bears actually had a seed to play for? I mean,
Number 1 wasn't it between them and the Seahawks for number 1? And I can't believe the Seahawks got the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised that the Red Rocket didn't pee his pants, crap the bed. Yeah, the Bears, they didn't sit anybody.
Yeah, Seahawks 14-3.
Yeah, that's surprising.
We came out of the woodwork at the tail end, and it mainly was due to our defense. So
Bottom line, defense, and then also O'Connell calling different, game plan, for the last 5 games, which is something that he should have done at the beginning of the season, but he didn't, or, follow all the way through. No, he wanted that downfield stuff, airing the ball out. And that's going back to the Vikings and, the way their season. Well, the issue is the O-line, and of course the quarterbacks, and also O'Connell's play calls. Some of those were in question, and he even questioned himself on some of them. So
There were a couple of games in the beginning of the season where the secondary wasn't playing up to what they needed to, like against the Eagles, where they gave up like those long passing touchdowns.
well, yeah, then also didn't have the pressure, So, but anyway, actually, the defense started coming out in the last 7-8 games, So, and they finished out like the top 5 defense or something like that. So, but anyway, that's the way the cookie.
Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about and going forward or in future podcasts, like who's going to stick around. Who are they going to cut? 'Cause one of their 2 defensive linemen, they're not going to probably keep around. He wasn't, and then he ended up being on injured reserve at the end of the season. Is it Hargrave or was that Allen? Okay, keep him straight.
Hargrave, wasn't it? Or was it Allen?
I can't remember which one got hurt.
Can't remember either. I thought it was.
Was Hargrave finished? Yeah, he played against the Packers, so.
Okay, so it's Allen. But I thought they weren't put on injured reserve. Gernard was put on injured reserve, along with Metellus.
Any.
I don't think they can afford their contracts next year anyway. So
Yeah, they're going to be making some cuts, that's for sure, restructuring.
see that they did a reserve futures contract for a guy they're comparing to Redmond.
From the CFL.
Yeah, comparing them to Jalen Redmond.
Well, yeah, that'd be good to have 2 of those guys, because he was probably the highlight of the end of the defensive line.
Oh, yeah. Well, him and also Rodriguez did all right.
Well, it seemed like when they were getting run on, they'd put that platoon in. They put Rodriguez in, and they'd take out both Hargrave and Allen.
Yeah. Let they hire Jones, and that's who the defensive back coach is that been around. Dion something or other, the defensive back coach. They talked about him.
Dariante.
Yeah.
Or Durante. That depends on how you pronounce it, I guess.
I'm hoping they just give B-Flow enough money to stick around.
Well, yeah, if it's not a head coaching job, I don't see why he would go someplace else, because you look at the other teams, well, there was talk about Dallas. They fired their DC. Well, why would Flo go to Dallas? Yeah, Jerry Jones might throw out the cash. Well, so will the Wolf family. But the thing is, he has to start all over and
Building up his team.
yeah, and do they have the draft capital? I don't know what the Cowboys got for draft, but Jerry Jones, the way he drafts,
Didn't they get a pretty sizable haul for Parsons?
well, a couple first rounders, I think, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, yes, that's just it. I'm assuming the Vikings are going to promise or make promises or offer him a lot of money and have personnel, which I'm pretty sure he already has personnel input. I mean, pretty sure he's the one who wanted Van Ginkel. Pretty sure. I don't know about the defensive lineman. Maybe he thought they would be productive, but with this last offseason's free agents.
Well, I guess we can take a look at how many of our free agents are on the defense and say if he left, where you might try to snag him with him.
Well, I know that he wanted Cashman, Gennard,
Ginkle.
Van Ginkel. He wanted Tell to stick around. That's when they gave him his extension. And I don't know so much about Allen and Hargrave if he wanted them. I think he sort of did, but they didn't really fit into his scheme that much. Toward the end, they played somewhat decently, but it took them a while.
Well, I'm sure his is the kind of defense that, takes a while to catch on to. But they did, I think, miss was the Harrison Phillips. I don't know if it was a good trade to get rid of him.
Well, it probably wasn't, but then would Redmond or Rodriguez get in that much then?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's I guess a benefit of it is that they got some development. Well, let's just jump into our off-season or our season awards, or who we think the Vikings offense MVP is. I mean, is there really anybody to call out? I'll let you guys kind of pick. I got
Jordan Mason, running back.
Mason?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't terrible throughout the year.
Well, when he was in there, when they hand the ball to him, wasn't very often that he lost yardage. In fact, I think overall he would gain at least 2 or 3 if, look how many times Jones got knocked down behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
so
true.
I go with Mason for the offense.
All right.
Sorry, Jefferson. I like you, but,
Jefferson is good,
Well, Jordan Mason, he still was the leading rusher, but he was hurt a couple of games. Jefferson did get 1,000 yards receiving, even with the quarterback play.
Or the play call. Well, there were some passes he didn't hang on to.
You'll have that, though.
I know Jordan Addison, he had a pretty high drop rate. So
Really?
I don't know. It's a toss-up between Jefferson and Mason. I think Mason did all right. I really would like to give it to the C.J. Ham. He scored,
2 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
My
It is pretty damn good.
my sleeper for MVP is Jalen Naylor. Anytime they needed a big play against the first game against the Lions, he was the one that they threw to get conversion on 4th down, but 4th and 5. It seemed like anytime they needed a big throw, he was the one who was actually catching the ball.
Yeah, go figure Jefferson, that's what puzzles me throughout the season. Here with the throws, the Naylor, and yeah, he dropped some, but I mean, not as many as Addison. And
I can only
most
remember
of
one
the
or two.
passes, most of the passes he caught. Now Jefferson was more of supposed sure-handed one, but he couldn't hang on to some of them balls.
We had many games where receivers could have held on to the ball, and they did not. But then again, it wasn't always the perfect throw, but it shouldn't have to be the perfect throw when you're in that profession. My opinion.
Only one drop all year for Naylor.
Yeah.
One drop. No kidding, huh?
That's what the stats say. And I'm all about stats. So consensus then. Who do we think?
I'll go with the Naylor. What the hell?
I think you're going with Mason.
I think Naylor.
And it's tough to pick him. I mean, it's tough to go against Jefferson, but I mean, and I think the reason why Naylor was able to have some success is because of the presence of Jefferson on the field. So it's hard to pick against him, but again, the drops, and I know he was pressing, but not knowing where the ball is going to be, but still, yeah, I'm going. So everyone's in agreement. Naylor for offensive MVP.
Yeah, we'll go with Naylor.
Yeah.
They were.
I mean,
I think Brandel reserves a special mention for taking up the center position when he had absolutely no experience with it. I think he held up, better than our backup prior to him did. So
Yeah, more or less. Brandel did all right. Although Brandel had to go to tackle, Jurgen was in there and he was playing better. In fact, he was playing the last couple games, wasn't he?
yeah, I think he was, but he had some experience prior at it, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, not really, because he was
in the game that
he was a tackle or something. They moved him to center.
Was it against the Falcons where like he just got tore up, and then that's when we were talking about like he can't be the center. And again, he just got too much pressure up the middle, and then he got hurt, I think, and then they had to play Brandel at center.
Yeah,
preferred Brandel at center the whole time, but I think he had to kick out to tackle. Defensive MVP.
Boy,
and this is actually MVP. I mean, we were kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough category there.
Yeah,
all of the above.
We had guys that came out and made special plays all throughout the season.
You had Cashman, you had Harrison Smith, you had Van Ginkel, even though he missed a few games.
That's who I was gonna go with. I'm not gonna lie.
Grenard, until he got hurt, was actually getting pressure. It's just there was nobody else until Van Ginkel got back to sack the quarterback, to catch him after, Grenard created the pressure. So
yeah, the game definitely improved when Van Ginkel came back.
Yeah, he was on it.
We had some good rookie fill-ins this year for injuries and stuff like that. And I think that's why, with Hargrave and Al, they may not be back, because of some of the play of some of the rookies that we had.
Eric Wilson too. He was really splashing, took over for Ivan Pace.
Yep.
And we talked about that.
Wilson, I think, guys, toss up between him, Wilson, Grenard, and Van Ginkel.
Yeah.
Those are three of them that I would consider. I like to give it to Harry because he's been there the
last so many games. I mean, he started out a little bit slower in the beginning of the season. Obviously, we know that he had something going on. We don't know what it was, but he had something going on. But I mean, these last couple of games, man, it looked like young Harry out there.
Yeah, it looked like Harrison Smith under Zimmer, where she when he was given making the choice and to kind of blitz off the edge. That's where really when the defense seemed to, because it really wasn't about just pressure up the middle anymore. It was worried about pressure off the edge, which really helped.
Yeah,
I'm going
Van
Ginkel.
Start, but yeah, I think in the end he finished strong, and I'm really hoping he gives us a 15th year next year. But
you're jumping ahead.
Tom's in a hurry.
He's just an awesome player.
Van Ginkel is my choice.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, I'll go with Van Ginkel.
Thought maybe you might.
And really, for him to come back from a neck injury, those things are so tricky.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times where I was worried he got hurt again. Just he was slow getting up, and But no, I think that game against the Lions kind of sealed the deal for it. A second game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen Goff that frustrated in a long time.
Yeah, he didn't know what to do.
No. There was no rest for the wicked. Kind of like our quarterback been under all year. You got a taste of what our quarterbacks have felt like this year.
No shit.
And last year,
Yeah.
the Lions, defense was pretty nasty last year, so.
And I don't know what it's been because, for the longest time, going back to the Bud Grant days, I mean, the Vikings always seem to do well at developing linemen. And they go, into Denny Green, they still, had decent linemen like David Dixon, Corey Stringer, Jeff Christie, Matt Burke. I mean, a lot of, guys in the later rounds. And then, of course, Spielman comes in, and that's all he tried doing is drafting everybody in the later round.
It is, Well, the line really improved a hell of a lot when Minnesota Vikings got Hutchinson in. How how they got nailed by the NFL for tampering for that. But yeah.
It was worth it.
Yeah. No, well, see, that's the same with the defense. We had the purple people eaters, and then there was a gap in the defense, then had the defense again, and then kind of lapsed there, and yeah.
Back, and then Flores brought it back after that, after the Donna Shell defense lost us.
Oh, Donald, oh man, that guy.
Well, he sure knew how to do the talk, but he couldn't do the walk.
Well, his defense, it takes 2 years for people to pick up on it and figure it out. At least 2 years. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he claimed. Whatever.
Tried to
I
be
don't
Ben-
care. He was too anyway, so look who's talking, but that's beside the point. Yeah.
All right.
Pretty sure it was you, Daniel.
We're in agreement, though, that Van Ginkel then for defense.
Van Ginkel.
I don't know who's going to be the special
Will
teams.
Reichert.
Moving on. Yeah, so Will the Thrill Reichert's obviously the winner there. So often off-season storylines, what, going into it, we have, it's kind of throw it out there. What are we going to be talking about? Or what's the biggest issues that you can think of going to the next season?
Well, bottom line is, I think that they ought to go ahead and give McCarthy a chance, be like his second year compared to, his third year. But on the same token, I think they ought to find a veteran that they can persuade to come in and not spend a whole lot of money on.
So here's the free agents for next year, quarterbacks. And you're looking at it, they gave Carson Wentz $1.4 million for the season.
Wow.
And I mean, there's other options that they could have. I mean, Bridgewater 1.2. And then Brett Rippon. So they're paying him $1.1 million to be practice squad stringer.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the picking list or the list for next year. I mean, who would you bring in?
Well, but they're also talking that the Falcons are restructuring Cousins so it's easier for him to leave.
I don't know if I can't see him coming back, knowing that he might not be a starter. But again,
well, I think next year they have to. Honestly, they can't waste Jefferson's years. They have to go for an honest competition, and whoever wins in the preseason is who needs to be the quarterback. They can't sit here and waste Jefferson's prime years trying to develop somebody if they got somebody that's coming in that can actually play better than what McCarthy can give them in after training camp.
Yeah, no, that they're good at doing that too.
Well, even Jefferson commented here at the end that he was going to get his JJ to go out and work out together, and whatever. Yep. He actually, and I believe he's sincere, but he does believe in McCarthy. So,
did he phrase it to the term where he said, "Well, I'm hoping it's him,"
Yeah.
Whatever. But I think he's still saying it's still got to be, whoever is going to be the best for him.
Right. But he still said that he was going to work out with McCarthy, So then he said he believed in McCarthy.
And like I say, that doesn't change the fact that whoever comes and throw the ball down the field the best and follow their scheme the best, doesn't matter if he works out with it. I'm just saying in the end, it may be McCarthy or it could be somebody else. They need to go with the best person for the team and not,
I think there ought to be competition in training camp and all that. Competition, not Sam Howell type person, but an actual. And, if Kirk Cousins wanted to come back to compete, but whatever. But he was on Netflix again, for a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And he said there that he wished that he stayed with the Vikings. The Vikings did give him an offer. He knew what was on the table. But he found out that the grass wasn't all that much greener on the other side. The Vikings was up front with him. He didn't have a clue that Penix, or, when he signed with them. So
I'm pretty sure they knew early on that they were going to draft a quarterback too.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. They signed him to that giant contract knowing they were going to draft a quarterback, though. That's just, I think we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, it was baffling how they did that or whatever, but maybe they didn't really think Cousin would be able to get out there and play, which he didn't, so coming back from his injury. So anyways.
Well, he did win 5 of his 7 last games with them.
Well, this year, yeah. But anyway, the bottom line is I don't know. I can't read the list.
Well, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson and Mariota are at the top.
Well, Daniel Jones isn't going to be playing. He's not going to be ready till 5, 6 games into next season. So why bring him back? And Rodgers, he's cooked.
Yeah, he's got him into the playoffs.
Yeah. He actually didn't do terrible. Hey, there's Ravens here too.
And knocked the Ravens.
I'm saying Rodgers cooked. I don't care. He played all right for the Steelers, but he's cooked. I don't want him.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it may not be. We don't get to choose. I'm just saying, if he goes up because he's played well, especially towards the end, threw a really nice ball to Thielen.
And Mariota, I don't know. I know Connell's talk kind of highly of him, but I don't know if he's worse. He's just as bad as McMullen, throwing wild balls. Yeah, sometimes he's accurate, whatever, but yeah. And
4 touchdowns, you just don't know to what team.
And then again, what kind of money are they looking at, them upper tier guys,
Right. That's the thing, is that they're not going to be able to pay anybody with their, right now, looking at their cap, they got to cut a bunch of people, restructure, just to have money.
That's it.
If I were to
That's
say,
why when we talk about, who we think's going to be gone, I mean, that's going to be part of the factors, of course, in some of those contracts. So
they're going to put more of an investment in it than they did this last offseason, and they're going to probably spend $3 to $5 million.
Oh yeah,
and I'm assuming it's going to be Jimmy G, Garoppolo. I mean, he's with the Rams right now, and of course, KOC has a history with them. Trey Lance might be a option I think. He's still young too, only 25.
Yeah.
And then I want them to bring in Uncle Rico just to have him on the team, Gardner Minshew. And those are my picks, because they need to go to the Kevin O'Connell School for players who can't quarterback good. And he didn't seem to be doing a good job this season, though.
I do have to say, I was very unhappy with his frickin' taunting bullshit that he had to do.
Yeah.
That was uncalled for.
What was that now?
When he taunted in the game and lost that yardage that he gained.
Well, that's what you taunt him, you run into him, then you start taunting him. I mean, it was a collision on the sidelines. Then he starts taunting him, and then he takes himself out of the game in the beginning of the second half. You're acting all tough and bad, and then you take yourself out because your hand hurts. Again, he broke his hand.
Yeah.
Well, I was pissed when he got flagged for that. I got pissed that he did it, just to let you know. But, that's one thing.
So, yeah. So, like you said, I think John said, it's going to depend on, I still think they're going to make an investment. But again, it's all going to depend on the other cuts and restructures they have to make. So, obviously, another big one is the Brian Flores situation. And we kind of talked about that prior to starting recording. And we kind of talked about the Raiders were early in the mix, with Tom Brady being, part of the ownership group. And then, the now I'm having a familiarity with the Patriots kind of, system. And then now with Harbaugh getting fired, that was another option being thrown out where he could be a head coach. But again, there's the Browns that you talked about, that, and then the Giants. I mean, of course, the Giants, the Dolphins. The Dolphins fired their head coach.
I think they said there's 6 teams.
Yeah, the Falcons fired their guy.
And that's why Kirk Cousins thinks he's going to get his contract restructured so he can walk away easier.
Well, what I was saying about the Dolphins and the Giants is those were the 2 teams that were listed on Flo's lawsuit.
Oh, I thought you had mentioned, because I didn't hear about the Dolphins one. So I think he's still there.
I think they fired a coordinator, though. I'm thinking.
All right, so we're just so the Ravens, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Browns, and the Falcons so far.
And Titans.
Titans,
They fired
Titans and
their-
Giants.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You just need to hear something on a contract from Minnesota, or otherwise they're going to be in the waiting process.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, I think the ones that might offer Flo a head coaching job would be the Raiders, the Cardinals, and the Browns. Now, Flo, I'll have to look at it long and hard if he even wants to go there. In fact, wasn't it one of the teams, Cardinals, wasn't it back when? Yeah, 3 years ago. Or was it Raiders that wanted they interviewed him once and they wanted to do a second interview, and that's when he declined and stayed with the Vikings.
yeah, I can't remember that.
It was one of them teams, but in my mind, those are the 3 teams. I don't know if the Ravens would go against.
The other teams can talk to him now, right? Because we're done. So,
Well, he's got another week or 2 on his contract,
contract.
But it's going to be over with, The Vikings aren't going to block him from talking.
No, they're not going to block him. I'm just hoping they're offering him a big, nice chunk to stay.
And I mean, again, we kind of I talked about it. Like these teams, I mean, other than the Ravens, there's really not a team that's on this list that have a decent roster. So he might just say, okay, one more year, pay me and I'll stick around for one more year at least. But again, I'm not sure if the Vikings are going to offer him an extension for just a year. They might.
Well, another thing too, why not make Flo the assistant head coach? Get rid of what's his face that supposedly is an assistant head coach.
Right. Packers guy.
Yeah, Pennant or whoever he is. I don't
Petine,
like him. Huh?
Petine, yeah.
I don't like the guy anyways. And he's shut with, he used to be the defense, what do you call it? Trying to think of the word. Give his 2 cents words, consultant. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think it. But no, I think it would be a better fit for Flo to be DC and also the assistant head coach.
Well, Mike Pettin. How do you pronounce that name? Anyways, he's also the outside linebackers coach.
Well, keep him as a linebacker.
Well, no, I just think it's weird that he's the assistant head coach
as well as a linebacker coach. That's what the teams I would really worry about is because the Raiders are known to do their own thing. The Browns was the owner that they got now, and Cardinal owner is bad as some of the other ones. I mean, go buck against the league, here and there, So anyway, that's my picking. But the bottom line is I hope they keep Flo and nothing else. Give them the assistant head coach position as well.
So I think, in my opinion, it's 50-50 right now. Sure, his experience with the Dolphins and the way he was fired, and then his, interviewing process to, be a head coach. Yeah, I think he's going to he wants to pick the right fit and one where he's going to be given opportunity. The Raiders haven't shown they're going to give their coaches opportunities more than a year or two. So
yeah, they've been really bad with the longevity of their coaches. It's like just as bad as the Jets. So yeah, I surely be worried about what teams.
If they get rid of Daniels, the special teams coach, it was the coverage units. It was questionable at best. I mean, other than the punter, the kicker, and the holder, I mean, the rest of it was. That's why they lost against the Bears.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they ought to let McCown go because how come there's all of a sudden became an issue or whatever with McCarthy and his mechanics and whatever. That's the coach, the quarterback coach job. It's the teacher, train, or whatever, the quarterback. It's not up to O'Connell. Yeah, O'Connell talks to the quarterback, but it's only like maybe a couple hours a week other than on the field.
I don't think it was an issue until he started out just like his accuracy became a question, and then that's when it became an issue. And that's when they started talking about working on his mechanics to try to solve that. But again, it's an off-season thing. They should have worked on it this off-season. It was never mentioned then.
That's why he was sitting off for so long.
So I don't know. I
that's-
mean, like I said, I don't. And as a quarterbacks coach, I don't know how important it is. Got Kevin O'Connell there too, right? So
Well, the bottom line is, that's what the coach is there. They got O-line coach. They got the running back coach that trains, teaches, whatever, fundamentals, technique, all that stuff.
I mean, they made it to where they were because they already, well off and with the understanding of what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to execute it.
And I think we talked about, or you mentioned it, I'm pretty sure, like the way Josh Allen has changed his mechanics.
Yeah.
So, again, it's something that's going to be the off season. I don't know if it's the quarterback coaches. And again, I think it wasn't until his accuracy issue came up in the middle of the season is when they started talking about it.
It was brought up when he ankle injury. That's when it was brought up.
It's not something that he shouldn't be working on his fundamentals like in the third and fourth game of the season.
Right. Well, they brought it up, Nothing was said prior to that. But anyway, the bottom line is I'm not the only one that feels that McCown ought to go. Like my favorite draft guy, Thor Nystrom, agrees with me.
Or do you agree with him?
I probably agree with him, but it was my idea. That, in fact, I brought it up one time about
you mentioned it before. Yeah. I just don't think you like his haircut.
Huh?
I just don't think you like his haircut.
I don't like my haircut, but anyway, I got to get one, by the way. Yeah.
And so we talked about Harrison Smith, CJ Ham, both may retire. I hope, like we talked about, I hope Harrison Smith sticks around for one more year. He started playing.
Like he does.
Started playing like the old Harry. And again, I mean, there's not many teams with fullbacks anymore. And CJ Ham just scored 2 touchdowns this year. He's only been in the league 10 years. That's not too many. He can play another year or two.
Well, I think he's ready to retire.
Yep. He said he was.
Can't blame him,
No, he said his time that he wants to spend more time with his kids and that. So Harry, now he says waits till after the season and how he feels and how he thinks, and then of course talking with his wife and whatever. And he said that as long as he's having fun, who knows? So
yeah.
But the way they put on that deal the last game, I don't know. I'm just wondering if he.
Well, that's what he said. It's kind of hard now that they did all this for me to.
They keep playing. Oh,
I haven't seen anything about Favre in forever since the Levi commercial. Ran out, bought me 3 pairs that day.
But yeah, no, I think he can do it one more year. I'm hoping he does. Like he said, he thinks that they're pretty darn close to where they want to be, and they are on the defense.
Oh yeah, defense is sitting.
And I wonder if the defensive coordinator decision will change his decision. If Flores comes back, if that's would make him more inclined to come back himself. But
yeah, I think if Flo comes back, I don't think he'd come back under a whole new defensive coordinator.
Probably not.
No, but I think he might. I'm leaning towards him coming back. The way he was talking, I don't know, but we will see. Just keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, and with him, it doesn't matter. There's no other team that they will bring him back.
They might be able to talk him into taking a $1 salary. I mean, as many times as he's taking a pay restructure, or
Yeah.
And like I say, hopefully he ends up on the defensive coaching side of things.
Well, I don't think he'll do it right after.
I don't think he'll do it right away. I think he'll take a break for a while, but I think somebody's going to talk him into it down the road.
He definitely is one on the coach on the field, that's for sure. So I think what we'll do is we'll head into talking about like the playoff matchups this weekend. We'll start filling out the bracket based on our picks, and then we'll talk about. We won't go into who's going to win, who we think is going to win the Super Bowl and all that jazz. We'll just fill out the the picks for this week's games. So Rams Panthers on Saturday. So it's in Carolina, even though the Rams have a better record in division,
Seed.
yeah, because the number 1 seed, the Seahawks, did. So I mean, this one's pretty easy for me. The Rams are gonna win this.
Same here.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Were you sleeping?
You're gonna
I'm
share.
trying to.
Are you gonna share with the rest of the class?
Rams are Panthers.
I'm gonna go with the. Wait, hold
All right, we won't make fun of you now. You picked the right one.
I picked the right one all season. Where are the Bears at?
Well, that's the next one. The Packers at the Bears on Saturday.
Bears.
Bears.
But I didn't look at any injury reports.
My God.
All right, I'll go with the Packers.
Boy,
Whoa. Well, Joe.
I got to go with the Bears. I thought we were just going to make a consensus or talk each other into something, and then that's what we were doing. I didn't know we were all going to have separate picks, so I got something quick on the fly.
Well, I mean, we want to keep everything straight. We'll go with the Bears.
No, we got to do this right. So we all picked the Rams. I can do this quick. I'm picking the Bears, so you're picking the Packers, John. It's the only one
Yep.
with the Packers.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to call him Mr. Loves.
Mr. Loves. Oh, Jordan
Duck
Loves.
out.
Jordan Loves. All right.
Still have my hair.
Bills on the road against the Jaguars.
Bills.
Well, the Jaguars are 13-4. Bills are
Alright.
12-5.
I'm picking the Bills.
My son's playing pretty well, quarterback for the Jaguars.
Who's your son?
Trevor Lawrence. Oh, JJ's your son. I got to pick my son.
Well,
I'll say we'll go with the Bills. They
Going with the Jaguars.
I don't know. John's thinking too hard. His glasses are steaming.
safer bet, but like John did bring up a valid point. How many, what's the injury report? How many key players are not going to play on either team would really make the difference.
I'm just going on the fly. I don't, it's a different story when, it's a regular season and whatever,
I know it.
It's either win or you're, otherwise you're out. So I'm just picking who I think is going to win. I don't care,
I'll go with the Bills.
I'm the lone one.
You're the odd one out now.
They're all going to laugh at me. That's not nice. All right. So this one's going to be fun. Niners at the Eagles.
Oh, that might be a little touchy. Foreigners. Touchy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the 49ers so you can watch those idiots in Philadelphia again.
Those are all the. I mean, I hate Packer fans, but I think I hate Eagles fans more.
Yeah.
So John, Dad, 49ers. I'll go with 49ers. What the heck?
40.
And then we got the Chargers at the Patriots. Or anyone picks, I don't know what I saw, a meme or I don't know. But the Giants won 2 games this year, and they have more wins against 500 teams or better than the Patriots do.
Wow.
The Patriots won 14 games. So they only beat 1 team above 500.
Wow. What are the odds? Odds there.
This
Well,
is,
just like the Vikings' first year of O'Connell, the comeback wins and with the record. But anyways, I'll go with Jimmy Boy Harbaugh team, the Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Tom Brady's former team.
I'm going Chargers. John, pick?
Oh,
Just about that, baby.
Who
who'd
do you
you
got,
pick?
John? Chargers, Patriots?
Patriots.
I guess he did pick.
Dismissed it. Maybe I was talking too much. And this is weird. A Monday night football game for a playoff game.
That'll be right.
Texans at Bird Bones.
Texans.
At Bird Bone. You're taking Texans, Tom?
Yeah, why not? Let's mix her up a little bit. Daniel said there's no points. We're just winging it tonight.
I'll go with Texan.
I'm going to have to try and watch it,
I'll go with the Texans, too.
I'm going to take some ayahuasca and go with the Steelers.
They're not even going to show up, Joe. They're already canceled. They're just not letting it out yet.
The NFL wants them to win. You see that missed field goal? That means they're scripted.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a kick in the ass if Thielen does go further with them?
Yeah.
And that's really the only reason why I'm picking them. I don't know. As long as Aaron Rodgers isn't on the Packers and the Vikings aren't playing them, He's all right. All right. So we'll be interested to see how these games stack up. And yeah, I was the odd man out on a couple of them, which I find surprising, but we'll see. And then, yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed that Flores stays around and that Harrison Smith plays another year.
It's the best.
Yep.
Any other final thoughts?
Yeah,
I think
just to let all the listeners, viewers know that I won the season pick'em. So I get the cinnamon rolls. They don't leave the house.
I load stuff sometimes, and sometimes like, oh, we won't use it. But, I mean, we have to. Look at that.
Got the poses, cinnamon rolls.
Aren't I so cute? Wow.
Look at all that hair you got on your.
Yeah. Let's
Been a
see
while
remakes
since
of
I
those
had
channels when you get that pan in front of you.
Wow.
Right. I like the split right down the middle. I like that.
Yep.
No, I can't do it anymore. More baldness in the middle. Yeah. Okay. We're good.
Look forward to the mill pattern baldness.
I thought you were supposed to start eating cinnamon rolls from the beginning of the chat until we get over with the end of the chat.
I think that's your award or reward. You eat
Yeah.
during the whole podcast next week.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I think one cinnamon roll every 10 minutes is doable.
He's got to eat it quicker than that, or it won't stay hot enough long enough for him.
And for
What's that
every
noise,
cinnamon
Daniel?
roll,
Got a
we
new
need-
microwave. Got a new microwave, so he'd set up really good and it stays hot longer.
He needs a service like in the restaurant where they come with that hot ass pan on top of the wood chunk of wood with his meat in it,
Sitting there sizzling.
Yeah.
sizzling while he's sitting there.
Oh, there was a truck stop that I went into and ordered a steak and came out, and yeah, the bugger was sizzling. It was hot all the way through. Then, of course, it was just a bitty little thing, didn't. No, yeah.
All right, so we'll call it quits. Everybody, if we get any viewers, please like and subscribe. If you want to join us for an episode, email us at skolchat@gmail.com. Email address will be in the description below. And with that, I guess we can't Skol. There's no more games to play.
No, we'll catch everybody next week.
Bye, y'all.